Hello everyone, this is Katisha. In this video, I'm going to go through the AQA Biology Higher Tier Paper 2 from June 2018. This paper is 1 hour 45 minutes long and it's tested on 3 main topics: homeostasis and response, inheritance, variation and evolution, and ecology. And this paper consists of 9 questions and it's out of 100 marks. So let's have a look at question number 1. Question 1. Many human actions are reflexes. Which two of the following are examples of reflex action? Jumping in the air to catch a ball, it's not a reflex action. Raising a hand to protect your eyes in bright light, maybe, but releasing saliva when food enters your mouth, that you don't think of it, so that's a reflex action. Let's do this in green. Reflex action. Running away from danger, no. Withdrawing the hand from a sharp object, yes. Figure 1 shows how the size of the pupil of the human eye can change by reflex action. Name one stimulus that could cause the pupil to change in size from A to B. Now A, you can see that the pupil is actually large, which means that it's allowing more light. So this is basically in the dark and this is in bright light. Because the iris is pupil is trying small, so the eye is trying to protect the retina. So the answer is bright light. If you simply say light, that would be incorrect, because even here in A, it's still trying to detect light. So it has to be bright light for it to be small. Structure Q causes the change in size of the pupil. Name structure Q. What is Q? Q is basically the muscles that is around the eye, and that is the iris. Remember, the pupil is basically the whole. Describe how structure Q causes the changes in the size of the pupil from A to B. So what's happening? The pupil is actually smaller. So is the muscles of the iris relaxing or contracting from A to B? So the muscles have to contract. The iris muscles contract, or you could say shorten. You can't say muscles relax or constrict, or you cannot say that they expand as well. Figure 1.5. Figure 2 shows how structures involved in the coordination of a reflex action. So you have the receptor and neuron A, so which is connected to another neuron B and then neuron C, and the effector organ, the spinal cord. Describe how the structures shown in figure 2 help to coordinate a reflex action. So receptor is basically, let's say, skin, and that you're touching a hot object surface, and the effector is going to be your muscles, basically your biceps. Neuron A is your sensory neuron. Neuron C is your motor neuron. Neuron B is the relay neuron, and this gap over here is called the synapse. which has the neurotransmitter molecules going from one end to the other. So being able to label the neurons should actually give you at least 1 mark or more. So let's have a look at what the specification is asking in terms of level of answer, because it's a 6-mark question. So scientifically relevant facts, events, or processes are identified and given in detail to form an accurate account. So they don't give you much in terms of specific things for this question. So how is it actually happening? I walk through. Let's start with the skin, the receptor. Let's say the hand is touching a hot surface. The receptors in the skin detect the stimulus, which is the hot surface, right? And that's connected to the sensory neuron, and the message goes through the sensory neuron, travels to the spinal cord. At the end of the nerve ending or the neuron, neurotransmitters are released from one end of the, so in a synapse, it looks like this, right? And the message is going in this direction, and neurotransmitters are released from one end, and there's receivers on this end. Once the neurotransmitters attach themselves to these ends, then a new nerve impulse is generated, and that's how the synapse works. So once it crosses the synapse, it is then passed on to the relay neuron, and the relay neuron, at the end, there's another synapse where neurotransmitters are actually moving across to the motor neuron, and then the message or the response is relayed through the motor neuron to the effector organ, in this case muscles. And what does the muscle do? It contracts. If it was a gland, it will release a hormone, and that's the reflex action. So here's a model answer from the marking scheme. The receptor detects the stimulus, pressure, and generates impulses or electrical signals. So they have given pressure as an example. You can say temperature as well, or pain. Pain is related to the pressure. The neurons conduct impulses or electrical signals. Neuron A, which is a sensory neuron, conducts impulses to the spinal cord. In the synapse between neurons, neurotransmitter chemicals crosses the synapse, which stimulates impulses in neuron B, which is the relay neuron. The electrical impulses crosses another synapse and passes to neuron C, which is the motor neuron. The effector carries out the response. Example, muscles of the arm or leg contract, or gland secretes chemicals. That's the end of question number 1, and I will see you in question number